while talking about content and creating content, we do see founders, startup founders becoming literally celebrity founders, from the likes of Shark Tank to even, Nikhil, your brother, who's actively podcasting and doing a great job. What are your thoughts on being a celebrity founder? You yourself are one. And what could be the possible pros and cons?
I mean, I don't know what a celebrity founder is, but I think storytelling is an important aspect of an entrepreneur, especially in a consumer-facing startup. And we've done this as a business right from the start. I've been blogging. I've been, not just me. Kailash has been blogging. Nikhil has been writing. I've been very active on a lot of forums. I used to manage Zerodha social media handles for a very long time personally, but then, and I used to spend a lot of time with traditional media until I realized that around 2019 that maybe it's also important to build your own personal brand, and that's when I got on Twitter, LinkedIn, and etc. So I'm kind of late to that whole party, and it is important for people, for your customer to know what kind of brand the founder embodies, but then it kind of brings in its own risks as well, because you can accidentally say something which can backfire, right? Because the more things you say, the more risk you actually bring on the table as well. So I think it's a right balance. The problem with social media and content creating is sometimes you can get carried away, because being on social media gives you dopamine hits, right? And people like, retweet, and etc. So sometimes you can get carried away and say stuff when you don't really have to say things. So one of the things I've done personally for this is I have a small little team who have complete rights on everything that I say. So they can kill anything that I write if they think it's not worth saying it. So that way, I think that balance has to be kept. So.
Tell us about the mantra. Zerodha has been built on a very, on barely any advertising, but it is a huge brand now. So what's the secret sauce?
Good storytelling, right? I mean, one is, of course, you need to have a good product. You have to do what is right for the customer. But more importantly, you also have to come storytell. So, I mean, if you go back, if you see our blog, you see multiple forums that we run, or our activity on social media, that we also come out and spoken about what we do as a business, the philosophies, etc. And I think it's helped that our philosophies are very different to the mainstream. So it helps you build a narrative. So in that way, it's been easy for us to build an audience, because what we say is not too many people are saying it, right? So that, I mean, see, the end of the day, if you do what is right for the customer will do what is right for you. So and it's just that you have to do it for long periods of time. And people, not everyone sticks through for long periods of time. While we get credit today for Zerodha, but it's taken 15 years, 16 years, before Zerodha actually, when I say 15, 16 years, I'm also including my 10 years before Zerodha, where I used to be a very active person on online social media platforms or, trading platforms. So it takes time, so you have to keep doing it and hope you get lucky someday. So.
Right. So before I let you go, Nithin, what's one piece of advice? You've been also interacting with a lot of senior people in the industry across the ecosystem. What is one piece of advice would you give to budding entrepreneurs, especially at a time in the current sentiment in the market is not very positive?
I think, see, the entire ecosystem around us is always trying to push you to prioritize what is right for the short term. But as an entrepreneur, I think it's about doing what is right for the long term, right? Because usually, almost always, what is right for the short term is not really right for the long term. So it's that. It's right from your investor to your team to people around you. They'll all want you to do things which can which is right in the next 3 months, 6 months. And you as an entrepreneur, I think we need to be thinking 3 years, 6 years.